In this video, I want to talk about a major organ that forms early in pregnancy, the placenta. The placenta is a joint effort between mother and baby. It's half fetal tissue, half maternal tissue. It's the point of contact between the mother's blood and the baby's blood. Now, obviously, the baby can't breathe or eat or urinate or defecate while in utero, so the placenta is where the baby acquires its nutrients and its oxygen, and where it gets rid of its waste that would normally be exhaled or urinated out. In this image, we're looking at the baby growing in the uterus, the placenta over here connecting the baby to the uterine wall. And this is a close-up, like zooming in on this section of the placenta. In the placenta, you have a number of these tree-like structures called placental villi, or also called chorionic villi. Villi is the plural, villus is the singular. These chorionic villi protrude basically into a pool of the mother's blood. So the mother's blood leaks out of capillaries and pools around the chorionic villi. There's a thin membrane separating the fetal side of the chorionic villus from the maternal side of the chorionic villus. On this side of the membrane, you have fetal blood vessels. Now, that membrane means that the fetal blood isn't actually mixing with the maternal blood, but you can have exchange across that membrane, just like you get exchange across the membrane, the respiratory membrane in the lungs. So you can have carbon dioxide and wastes leaving the fetal blood into that pool of maternal blood, and you can have oxygen and nutrients leaving the maternal blood and diffusing into the fetal blood. So the fetal blood is dropping off waste and picking up essential nutrients and oxygen. This is another view of the placenta, basically the same idea. You have the whole thing without the baby in this side, and then a zoomed in view on this side. So slightly different artwork, but showing the same thing. You have the multiple chorionic villi protruding into this pool of maternal blood. This also illustrates the vessels, the capillaries in the mother's side of the placenta leaking, bringing new blood into the placenta. The term for the maternal side of the placenta, that's called the decidua basalis. The chorion is the fetal side of the placenta. That's why they're called chorionic villi. The chorion begins forming at implantation. The decidua basalis begins specializing from the uterine tissue about week 5 or so, but it's not fully impregnated, no pun intended, with maternal blood until about weeks 10 through 12. So basically, by around about 3 months, the end of the first trimester, the placenta is fully formed. Now, the placenta is not just a nutrient source and waste disposal mechanism. The placenta is also an endocrine organ. There are a number of hormones that the placenta secretes that have important roles in maintaining pregnancy and in enabling delivery when the time comes. Human chorionic gonadotropin is produced by the placenta, from the fetal tissue of the placenta. It's actually produced by the outer layer of cells of the blastocyst, the trophoblast. And human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, maintains the corpus luteum. So it keeps the corpus luteum active so that the corpus luteum continues producing progesterone until the placenta takes that role over. Lactogen and prolactin are produced by the placenta, and these two are involved in mammary gland development. They stimulate the mother as well to metabolize fatty acids so that glucose can be used by the fetus. So basically, they shift the mother's metabolism more towards using fatty acids as a carbon source so that the glucose in her blood can be used by the growing baby. The placenta also produces a hormone called relaxin. Relaxin is an inappropriately named hormone. It loosens ligaments of the pelvis so that the pubic symphysis gets more flexible and can expand a little bit more for birth. It also causes dilation of the cervix and suppresses oxytocin, which basically, since oxytocin is a signal for labor, relaxin helps delay labor until the baby is fully developed. There's also some evidence that relaxin probably plays a role in maturation of the endometrium and development of the placenta as well. Lastly, we have progesterone and estrogens produced by the corpus luteum early in pregnancy, but produced by the placenta once the placenta is fully formed. And these maintain the endometrium. So these hormones keep the endometrium active and capable of supporting a pregnancy. There's also an increase in estrogen that happens late during pregnancy that's involved in stimulating labor. This graph just shows you the different levels of hormones, the relative levels of hormones in the mother's blood over time. HCG is also the hormone that's detected by pregnancy tests to determine whether you're pregnant or not. So those early home pregnancy tests have to be able to detect very low levels of human chorionic gonadotropin if they're going to function very early, especially since this is a blood level, and those usually detect urine levels. So human chorionic gonadotropin, it peaks at about a week after fertilization, and then gradually comes back down over time. Estrogens and progesterone are kind of increasing in blood levels and really start to increase in blood levels after the placenta is fully formed by about 12 weeks. After studying this video, you should be able to answer these questions. First off, you should, of course, be able to explain what the placenta is, talk a little bit about what it does, why it's important, both its role in keeping the developing baby alive and healthy, and its hormonal roles, its endocrine roles. You should be able to describe the structure of the placenta using the correct terminology, and explaining how it's a collaborative effort between mother and child. You should be able to explain further, to elaborate on the functions of the placenta, talk about the exchange of nutrients and the exchange of wastes, and you should be able to identify and discuss the function of the various hormones produced by the placenta.